Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth episode of Clinton Conversations. Today we are here with Deputy Fire Chief Nick Jarvis.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in your field?
Yeah, so I've been in the fire service for a little over 17 years now. I was with Clinton City for 15 years prior to this role,
Oh,
from 2008 to 2023 as a firefighter paramedic.
okay.
And I left in early 2023 for a promotional opportunity and spent a couple years in Summit County for another department called North Summit Fire District, where I was a captain there for a couple of months and then promoted to deputy chief. And I was deputy chief there for about 2 years. And then when the opportunity came up to come back to Clinton with Justin Benavides, his retirement, I tested and was luckily selected enough to take on the position, and so excited to be back in Clinton. I live in Clinton. And it's like I said, it's where I started my career. So yeah, really enjoy it.
That's great. So, did you always know that you wanted to be a firefighter? Because it sounds like you've been in the field for a while now.
Yeah, so I did my EMT in high school,
Oh, okay.
and actually started right after that with Clinton.
Wow.
About 6 months
Nice
after
start.
high school. Yeah, I started at 18 years, and so yeah, at one point, I mean, I didn't know really what I was going to be when I was in high school, and then I did the EMT class in high school, and did a couple ride-alongs with Ogden City Fire and Layton City Fire, and really liked it, and kind of enjoyed the medical aspect of the fire service initially more so,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what drew me in. And yeah, and then just started down the pathway of going to the fire academy. And then when I was hired at Clinton, I was in a position where they were able to help me get my fire certifications and my paramedic and things like that. So
Mhm.
Clinton's been great for me and my family, and yeah. So to answer your question, no, when I was in high school, no, I didn't know that was, I don't have anybody else in my family that's in public safety or fire service or anything like that. So, but it just kind of worked out, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic career, and I really enjoy it.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned that what got you interested in it more was like the medical aspect because I had no idea that all of the firefighters here have to be paramedics as well.
Yeah. So that is one of the big misconceptions out
Hmm.
there within the fire service, is that everybody thinks that we're just firefighters, and we, maybe 100 years ago and stuff like that, that was what it was. But we are what's called an all hazards response fire department now. So meaning we do EMS calls, so ambulance calls, paramedic calls. We do hazardous materials response, technical rescue response. So any reason that somebody would call 911, there's a good chance that the fire department's going to be involved. It's not just for fires. And if it was just to put out fires, we wouldn't have a job because there's not that many of them, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's not the basis of what we do.
yeah.
So
I was just about to say, I've been on one ride along with the fire department, and I was like, so obviously you guys do a lot more than just put out fires because if there was multiple fires in Clinton every single day, I think we'd have
exactly, yeah, there wouldn't be a city left,
there
right?
wouldn't be a city
Yeah,
left
yeah,
if you guys had to work all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So what do you guys do besides put out fires?
Yeah, so the basis of the schedule for the duty crews and stuff, they work a rotating 48 on, so 2 days on, 4 day off schedule. So that means they're at the station for that 2 days. They start their shift at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they go home 2 days later, at that same time at 8 o'clock in the morning. So everything that happens in that 48-hour time span is there for them. So the way we break it up is we think of it as kind of in blocks from 8 to 5 is normal working hours. So that's where they participate in truck checks, where we check all of our rigs, make sure that everything's operational. Obviously, we have to know that everything on our trucks is ready to go at a moment's notice. And so every morning, if you drive past the fire station, there you might see the engine pulled out and they're running the pump or running saws and doing that kind of stuff, just making sure that it's ready to go. And they do that in the morning, and then they'll usually do some type of physical training because our job is very physically demanding, and so we allocate time for them to physically train, and we have physical training standards that they have to meet throughout the year, and so as part of that, that's one of the things that they do. And then there's station tours with kids or scout groups or church groups. And then a big thing that we do throughout the day, in addition to running calls, is training. So we try to have at least 2 hours of training every day,
Mhm.
from medical training, fire training, all the other things that we may encounter,
Yeah.
and then sprinkle in calls and anything that may come up that needs to happen throughout the day to is what they do. And then after 5 o'clock, it's kind of what we consider their downtime. Now they're still in service and ready to go on calls, but that's when they can kind of relax and have dinner a little bit and hang out as a crew and do that kind of stuff. So
That's way cool. And
yeah,
that's definitely something that I just barely learned like a couple months
uh-huh,
ago how you guys run.
yeah.
And I think there's a lot of misconceptions surrounding what you guys do. I mean, obviously with the more medical aspect of it and how the shifts work, is there any other misconceptions or things that you want to clear up about the fire department?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the ones that's always kind of stood out to me throughout my career is we'll have people tell us, citizens are, oh, you guys just sit around and watch TV all day, and that's not what we do. Yes, there's a TV at the station for them, but they're not sitting around watching TV all
Mhm.
day. And then other things are. Um, Yes, you may see them go to the grocery store and get food and stuff like that. That is all money that they pay for that comes out of their own pocket. Just
Mhm.
like when you're at work and you go buy lunch, like the city is not paying for that. And yeah, they cook and clean and do all the things that go into running a household. And so yeah, that's one of the things out there is, sometimes citizens will wonder, well, why is the fire truck at the grocery store or something like that? And that's why, is because they're there for 2 days, and they've got
Yeah.
to be able to have the things they need to survive and
Mhm.
and live for those 2 days. So yeah,
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
yep.
And I know you guys don't have to put out fires that often, which thank goodness, honestly.
Mhm.
But what are some fire safety tips that you see that people could maybe be better at in their home, in their business, anything like that?
Yeah. So a big thing right now is the lithium ion batteries, the safe charging of those.
Hmm.
We have had, across the nation, it's becoming something as everything's using batteries. Those fires are extremely dangerous, not only for the public but for us as firefighters. They're extremely difficult to extinguish,
Hmm.
especially like Tesla style EV car fires are
Yes.
very difficult. They're quite hazardous. And so safe charging practices with all lithium ion batteries, not utilizing multiple into an extension cord, those types of things, utilizing the appropriate batteries and the appropriate chargers, making sure that you're not overcharging and having stuff just constantly sit on the charger. When it's done charging, take it off, unplug it, so that way it's not constantly drawing that current, or things to do to stay safe this time of year. Always have to say, going into the holiday season, turkey fryers. Make sure that your turkey is completely thawed before, if you're going to fry a turkey. If
Okay.
it has any ice or anything like that, if it's not thawed completely, it can cause to where that will boil over. That hot grease comes over, hits the open flame, and now your deck's on fire or your house is on fire, depending on how close you do it to your house. I have responded to one of those over the years, so
Oh, jeez.
we've done different demonstrations with our open house that we do every year in October. We do a fire prevention open house, where
Mhm.
we'll have different things, kind of a safety topic of the year. And we've done that before. But that's one that always comes to mind. And then along that lines, going into, Christmas tree safety for live Christmas trees is, making sure that your outlets are good and that you're not leaving the tree plugged in for an extended period of time, that you're keeping the water there so that it has the moisture that it needs so that it's not drying out and creating a fire hazard risk that way. And then just other, general safety tips throughout the year is to, make sure you're checking your smoke detectors, replacing your batteries at least once a year, and that you're checking them every 6 months, to make sure that they're operational. So we always tell people, if you think about daylight savings times, you change your clocks, check your batteries, check your smoke detectors, as kind of a
Okay.
way to remind yourself for that. And then oh, sorry, there was one other thought that I had, but it just escaped me. So if it comes back, I'll
Yeah, I think
revisit
that's a great list.
it.
And it sounds like the holidays seem to be the biggest
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
those are some great tips. So, lithium ion batteries and
the
turkey
turkey
fryers,
fryers,
Christmas
yeah,
trees.
Christmas trees, and then just checking your smoke detectors. Oh, and then another thing is to make sure that you as a household, do you know how to get out of your house in the event of an emergency? So one thing I always tell people is the first thing we do as the first arriving engine or a chief officer when we get on scene, if the house is on fire, the first thing we're going to try to get is a homeowner
Mm-hmm.
or a responsible party and find out if everybody's out of the home, because our priority is life safety. So if there's somebody inside the home, that is the priority for our actions on the fire ground. And so if we know that everybody's out of the house, then that makes our job a little easier in the sense that we just have to focus on extinguishing the fire, and we don't have to worry about as much of the search and rescue side of things with that as well. So it's always a good thing to know how to get out of your home,
Mm-hmm.
and where you as a family or as a household, where you would meet, have like a meeting place or something like that. So when the fire department shows up, that we can quickly account for everybody. So yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great thing to practice with our families,
Yeah.
especially with
Yep.
the holidays coming up,
Yep.
maybe some preventative measures.
Mm-hmm.
With the fire department, we're so grateful to have you guys in Clinton to have a local fire department. Is there anything that we can do as Clinton citizens to help you out? Maybe a volunteer? Do you guys offer anything like that where we can help out as citizens?
So that's a great question. So as far as volunteer status and things like that, we don't have volunteer firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
It's a career department, but there's always things that are going on. Like right now, we're doing a coat drive. So if you want to help out with that, and then as part of the fire department, we're affiliated with our community emergency response team, the CERT team, and so we help with them, and they kind of fall under our umbrella with the CERT team. And so if there are people within the community that are looking to be part of that, then we can certainly get you in touch with the CERT liaison and get that going, and that's fantastic. And yeah, I think that the citizens as a whole and the city as a whole is very supportive of the fire department, and we're very grateful for that. Little tidbit about that is we're celebrating our 50th year as a fire department this year. So our badge that we're wearing this year is a special 50th year commemorative badge.
That's way cool.
And so yeah, we're very fortunate as far as what we have and for the city, and we feel like that we provide a great service, and we're always continuing to look to improve upon that service.
Well, thank you so much for the service to Clinton City, and tell thank you to the other firefighters in the department. Yeah. We're so grateful that you were able to come on the podcast and to tell us a little bit about fire safety tips as well as how you got into the field. Is there any last parting words of wisdom or advice you want to share?
No, I think that kind of sums it up. So yeah,
okay.
Thank you so much.
That sounds like you had some great tips, and we're sure to implement those during the holiday season. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much for listening to our 5th episode, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye, Clinton.